Shanti, Antarikshagam Shanti, Prithvi Shanti, Rabha Shanti, Vrashadeva Shanti, Vanaspatya Shanti, Vishwadeva Shanti, Brahma Shanti, Sarvavam Shanti, Shanti Reva, Shanti Sama, Shanti Redhi, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti Om, Bolo Satguru Dev Maharaj Ki Jai, Bolo Shri Lakshmi Narayan Bhagwan Ki Jai, Bolo Acharya Shyam Ramanuj Ki Jai, Jai Sriman Narayan, Jai Gurudev. Jai Sriman Narayan. First like to pay my obeisances to my Guru, Acharya Shyam Ramanuj. Thank you for joining me for tonight's Aarti and short discourse. I'd like to continue today with the background of Acharya Shyam Ramanuj. Acharya Shyam Ramanuj is a guru in the 21st century, and I'd like to explain a little bit more about this. So just to recap, if everyone has not been following the last two discourses that Acharyaji has given, he's been answering questions that his son Sean has been asking him, but not just his son Sean, but I know it's coming from a lot of people who have had or have the same questions, both here in South Africa and around the world. And one of those questions was that with Acharyaji having his background, living in the material world, growing up being an atheist, to which Acharyaji explained in his discourse more in detail, doing more justice than I ever could about his personal life. The question that was asked was, how is it possible for such a person being absorbed in the material world to now one day become a bona fide guru and one of the leading gurus in the world who is spreading Vishishtadvaita in the way and manner that Acharyaji is. So in answering this question, Acharyaji explained a little bit more about his personal life, which is now public knowledge, and I'd like to just recap on this because he was once divorced and had a baby, had a son from his previous wife, and thereafter reconnected with Mataji, and Acharyaji explained a lot about that in his discourse. But the point that Acharyaji was trying to make was that he is practically showing us that the Vedas are alive by quoting directly from the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita. There was a verse in there that he quoted that Lord Sri Krishna, who is an incarnation of Lord Sriman Narayan, has clearly stated that if you totally surrender to him, then he will wash away all your sins, no matter what kind of a sinner you are. And this is practically what Acharyaji has shown the world, that it doesn't matter who you are, be it a judge or a criminal. if you 100% fully surrender, then all your sins can be washed away, and in Acharyaji's instance, you can become a bona fide guru. So one of the things that Acharyaji mentioned in his when he started his discourse on Sunday was that he stated that he was very ill over the last few days, and what he said thereafter is something that I just want to elaborate a little bit further, just to have everyone understand more about the background and character of who Acharyaji is. So he stated that he was quite ill, but nevertheless, the first thing he stated thereafter was that it doesn't matter to him because his fate, his life, is all in the hands of Lord Narayan, and it is up to Lord Narayan to decide what happens to him. And this is an important point I'd like to emphasize on, because by stating this alone, it is Acharyaji that's saying that he totally surrenders. He has no doubt in the Supreme Personality of Godhead taking care of him, and everything is in his hands. And this is something that Acharyaji teaches us, that we should practice our spirituality, and this is a good example of him practically showing us that if he can say this, if he can practice it, if he can have total surrender in the manner that he does by what he said, then it should be something that we should be following as well. So this stood out for me as a true bona fide guru of who Acharyaji is, by having full surrender and full faith in Lord Narayan and his guru. Another thing Acharyaji also stated was that regardless of him being sick, he still, with every breath that he has, will fulfill his mission to the best of his ability. So this is why, even him being in pain, he still conducted his discourse, his satsang, gave a discourse. People watching would not have even realized that he was ill. And this is something else that Acharyaji is born with in his character, is that he is totally dedicated to his mission. Be it sunshine or hail or rain, he will still fulfill his mission. To which he also stated that regardless of him and his medical state, that devotees should not feel obliged or feel bad to consult with him, because he still gives 150%, even though he is not 100%. And this also comes across as a genuine character that we should all strive to have. These qualities we should strive to have. Something else which comes to mind is that, and I'm also very guilty of this and get whacked regularly, is that, and I'm sure lots of people out there will also be in the same boat, is that we always complain. We complain that we don't have enough time. Our lives are so busy, we don't have time to do anything. We are consumed by our jobs and our families and our social lives, that we have no time for spirituality or religion or to do any seva, etc. And Acharyaji practices this by telling us that he himself is in the same situation, the same boat, but yet he never complains. And also by him stating that his consultations and his discourses and people that need help should still consult with him and come to him is an example of this. And just some more examples of what Acharyaji's life is like is that he is extremely busy. Being a guru is not an easy job, because he doesn't have to take care of just one entity. He's got numerous things that he juggles on a daily basis. These are, for example, building the ashram, which is a massive project, and it's not something he just talks about, because if anyone logs onto Facebook and sees the pictures that he posts with the ashram, even on our daily aartis, there's videos that go around the ashram. You can easily see that things are continuously being built, constructed, and it's a full-time job. And just a little bit more about Acharyaji's character, with his dedication and love for what he does. We would easily say, but if we were to build something, we would stop when it rains and we'd only build when it's sunshine. But Acharyaji is not like this. He explained to me that on days that it is sunny, he is busy constructing, so he's building, and he's putting up the domes and the bridges and the pillars and etc. and cleaning up the ashram. So those are things that are done when the weather permits. But on days that it's drizzling and it's raining, he then swaps over to gardening, where he concurrently plants trees and plants and beautifies the ashram. This being the reason because with the rain, the plants and the flora will flourish better. So these happen concurrently, and he doesn't waste time. He doesn't make excuses, which is something I thought I'd mention. It's not a characteristic of Acharyaji. So also on that, so I asked Acharyaji once upon a time, how is it that you do so much? What's your motive behind it? When you wake up in the morning, what makes you want to do so much? Other than the ashram, there's other things that he also does, which is also consulting to devotees. And it's not just one or two devotees, it's tens of devotees, each with their own problems, ranging from a whole lot of things that Acharyaji helps them with. There's that, and then also on discourse day, on satsang days, there's obviously time that's needed to prepare for the satsangs, and then there's time to prepare for the daily aarti. So there's a lot that goes on during the day, and this is apart from the ad hoc things that come about on a daily basis that he needs to attend to. So my question to him was, what drives you to wake up in the morning and do all of this? And his answer was simple, and again, he is practically showing us that we should be following in his footsteps. His answer to this was that when he wakes up in the morning as a disciple of his guru, he asks his guru, what more can he do for him today? And that's what he does every single day. So when he wakes up, he gives it his 150% to do as much as he can in the time he has possible to make sure that his guru is happy with whatever Acharyaji has done for him in a day, and he continues in the simple way day after day, and this is how he strives to not stop fulfilling his mission. So lastly, another characteristic I want to just highlight is that when Acharyaji consults, he has had hundreds of devotees coming through the doors of the Sriman Narayan Dham and who have left after time, and it is because that these devotees were opportunists. So they came in, they needed Acharyaji's assistance, and they stuck around till they got what they wanted, and then they left. But in this time, they consumed countless hours of Acharyaji's time. So they would come with their problems, with their requests, what they wanted, how they wanted their lives to change. They would ask Acharyaji for advice. Acharyaji would then sit and advise them, or from a spiritual point of view as well, how to be different, how to change their lives, how to practically live the values, the guru-disciple relationship. There's so many topics that Acharyaji has spent trying to teach and preach and change people's lives. Only in the end, for once these devotees got what they wanted, gave Acharyaji a big boot and left and criticized him or called him a fake and carried on. And this has happened time and time over again. So my question to Acharyaji was, any normal person would entertain this the first time, maybe the second time, maybe the fifth time, and pushing it. But when this happens time and time again, how is it that Acharyaji still does what he does, still gives his 150% to the next devotee that walks in through the door, knowing that there's a possibility that that devotee might also leave one day in the same manner that the previous devotees left? And his answer was quite surprising, because it showed me the true nature of what a bona fide guru is, and who Acharyaji really is by his character. And he explained that he he sees because he understands the truth, because he has realized the Vedas and the truth and the absolute system that Lord Narayan has created. He understands the life cycle of a soul, and it's for this reason that it's his job as a bona fide guru to assist fallen souls in whichever way he can, and this process will continue. So when a devotee comes in and requests for Acharya's help, he gives them his 150%, because he understands that if this devotee leaves at any given time, the spiritual merits that he or she would have acquired in the time that they were with the Acharyaji would thereafter in their next lifetime elevate them to a higher level of consciousness, which would bring them closer to self-realization. And this made a lot of sense to me, because in Acharyaji's discourses, he has explained that in this cycle of creation alone, we've spent 155 trillion years, which is only half a second in Vaikuntha. So it tells you how many lifetimes we've taken birth in, and it's for the same reason that Acharyaji is helping fallen souls acquire spiritual merits, so that so that they can elevate themselves in future lifetimes. And this stood out for me because this is the selflessness of Acharyaji by having his doors open at all times. I mean, there's even been devotees that have given him the boot and criticized him, and still came back and asked for Acharyaji's help. And Acharyaji would still have his doors open with the hopes that they would change. This is qualities that are very rare in gurus and people and spiritual leaders around the world. So I think these qualities that Acharyaji has, including the way in which he practices what he preaches, should be practiced by us as well as disciples if we are on our path to self-realization. Jai Sriman Narayan.